Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbàdúrà. Ọlọ́run ọba alágbára jùlọ, ẹlẹ́dàá àti alákòóso ayé òun ọ̀run, àwa ń bẹ̀ yín wípé kí ẹ wá ṣe amọ̀nà wa, kí àwa bá lè máa rìn ní ọ̀nà òtítọ́ pẹ̀lú ìfẹ́ àti àánú sí ara wa. Ẹ wá fún wa ní oore ọ̀fẹ́ yín kí àwa lè máa ṣe gbogbo ohun tí yóò mú ìgbéga, ìṣọ̀kan, ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀, ìdùnnú àti àlékún àìsíkì orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà lápapọ̀ àti ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ní pàápàá. Àmín. Ẹ káàsán ẹ̀yin ẹlẹgbẹ́ mi, ẹ káàbọ̀ síbi ìjíròrò ti tòní. A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín pé a pè yín pé ẹ sì jẹ́ wa nínú ìsinmi. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe àgbéyẹ̀wò àkọsílẹ̀ èyí tí ó kọjá ní ọjọ́bọ̀ ọjọ́ 16 oṣù kínní ọdún 2020. ojú ìwé ọ̀kànlélọ́gọ́rin. Aṣòfin Ọ̀ṣun.
Ẹ káàsán olùdarí àtàwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́ mi. Olùdarí, ó jẹ́ ohun ìyàlẹ́nu fún mi pé orúkọ mi yọ lábẹ́ àwọn tí kò wá. Ó jẹ́ ohun ìyàlẹ́nu fún mi pé orúkọ mi yọ lábẹ́ àwọn tí kò wá. Mo rántí pé mo gba ìyọ̀ǹda yín nígbà tí mo fẹ́ lọ síbì kan. Ẹ̀yin dẹ̀ lẹ fún mi láyè.
Akọ̀wé bá ṣàtúnṣe. Ojú ìwé kẹtàlélọ́gọ́rin. Ojú ìwé kẹrìnlélọ́gọ́rin. Ojú ìwé kẹrìndínláàádọ́rùn.
Mr. Speaker.
Ojú ìwé
Mr. Speaker.
aṣòfin Tásímù.
Ẹ ṣé olùdarí. Ní ojúwe kẹrìndínláàádọ́rùn, nǹkan kan ń ṣẹlẹ̀ níbẹ̀ tí kò fi bẹ́ẹ̀ yé mi. Mo rí tí àwọn orúkọ kan tó wà láàrin àkọsílẹ̀ tí wọ́n kọ tí ó dẹ̀ yẹ kó wà ń bẹ̀. Orúkọ yẹn dẹ̀ jẹ́ Honourable Shola Jasaka Ìkòròdú, Honourable Kasumu AR, Honourable Mohammed, Honourable David Setonji, Honourable Elliot, question put and agreed to. Mi ò mọ nǹkan tó ń ṣe ń bẹ̀, bóyá ó kàn já pọ̀ mọ́ra wọn ni àbí nǹkan kan. Wọ́n máa ní láti ṣe àtúnṣe yẹn. Ẹ ṣé sà.
Ẹ ṣé akọ̀wé, ẹ ṣé àtúnṣe. Ojú ìwé karùndínláàádọ́rùn. Aṣòfin Láìwọlá.
Ẹ ṣé olùdarí. Mo fẹ́ pe àkíyèsí wa sí ojú ìwé kejìlélọ́gọ́rin sà. Ó ní í ṣe nípa ìdánimọ̀ ìyẹn nọ́mbà 3. Tí a bá wò nísàlẹ̀ pátápátá, ìkan nínú àwọn àlejò tí a ní ọjọ́ yẹn ni ọ̀gbẹ́ni Hakeem Bangbala. Wọ́n dẹ̀ kọ síwájú wọn pé akọ̀wé ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú All Progressives Congress APC ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó tẹ́lẹ̀ rí. Mo ń fi tó ilé rí pé ọ̀gbẹ́ni Hakeem Bangbala bí a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ igbákejì alága fún ẹgbẹ́ wa All Progressives Congress fún àárín gbùngbùn ó ní wọ́n jẹ nísìnyí kẹ́ bí a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Ẹ ṣé sà.
Wọ́n kọ pé akọ̀wé ẹgbẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀.
Ipò tí wọ́n wà ní ìsìn lèmi sọ sàí pé àwọn ní vice chairman central ní fún APC.
Ẹ ṣé.
Thank you sir.
Ojú ìwé kẹtàdínláàádọ́rùn. Ojú ìwé kejìdínláàádọ́rùn. A ti ṣe àgbéyẹ̀wò àkọsílẹ̀ ìjíròrò yìí tí ó kọjá, a sì fi òǹtẹ̀ lù. Olórí ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ tó pọ̀ jù. iṣẹ́ tí gómìnà fi ránṣẹ́.
Olùdarí ilé àti gbogbo ọmọ ẹgbẹ́, kò sí ìwé láti ọ̀dọ̀ gómìnà.
Àwọn ìfihàn mìíràn.
Olùdarí ilé a gba ìwé ní ọjọ́ 19 oṣù kejì ọdún 2021 láti ọ́fíìsì olórí agbẹjọ́rò àgbà àti kọmíṣánná fún ètò ìdájọ́ tí wọ́n kọ sí akọ̀wé àgbà ilé ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó Aláùsá lórí àbá òfin fún òfin láti ṣàtúnṣe sí òfin ọdún 2019 ti àwọn ikọ̀ àbójútó ọ̀rọ̀ ààbò lábẹ́lé ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó. Olùdarí, mo fi tọ̀wọ̀tọ̀wọ̀ ka ìwé náà báyìí. Ìtọ́ka sí àkọlé òkè yìí látàrí ìfàṣẹ́sí ti ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ níbi ìpàdé tí ó wáyé ní ọjọ́ 18 oṣù kejì ọdún yìí. Gómìnà ti pàṣẹ pé kí a fi àbá òfin láti ṣàtúnṣe sí òfin àwọn ikọ̀ alábòjútó ọ̀rọ̀ ààbò lábẹ́lé ṣọwọ́ sí ilé ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin fún àgbéyẹ̀wò àti ìsọdòfin. Mo fi ẹ̀dà àbá òfin náà ṣẹ̀yìn ìwé yìí fún ìtọ́kasí láti ọwọ́ amòfin àgbà MJ Onígbànjo, olórí agbẹjọ́rò àgbà àti kọmíṣánná fún ètò ìdájọ́. Yes, sir.
Ọ̀rọ̀ ìfẹ̀hónúhàn.
A kò rí ìwé ìfẹ̀hónúhàn kankan gbà, olùdarí.
Ọ̀rọ̀ pàjáwìrì ara ẹni. Ọ̀rọ̀ lórí àlàyé ara ẹni. Ìjábọ̀. Olórí ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ tó pọ̀ jù. Olórí ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ tó pọ̀ jù lọ.
Olùdarí, ohun mìíràn ni mo tọ́nà fún, ṣùgbọ́n ní ohun tí mo tọ́nà fún náà mo lè sọ ní abẹ́ ibi tí ẹ ti pè mí tẹ́ bá gbà mí láyè, mo dẹ̀ bẹ̀bẹ̀ kẹ́ gbà mí láyè. Òun ni wípé fún ìjókòó tèní a ní àwọn kùdìẹ̀kudiẹ kan tó ṣe ìpèníjà gidi fún wa láti ṣe ìgbékalẹ̀ ohun tí a fẹ́ jíròrò lórí lẹ́nìí ní èdè tí òfin gbà láyè ká sọ ní èní tí jẹ́ ìjọ́ àlàmísì. Ìdí nìyẹn tí mo fẹ́ tọrọ gáfárà àti ìyọ̀ǹda lọ́wọ́ àwọn ẹgbẹ́ mi pé kí n dábàá wípé ká fún ẹsẹ̀ 9 òfin ilé tó kàn nípa fún wa láti sọ èdè abínibí lẹ́nìí ká so ẹsẹ̀ yẹn rọ̀ kí a lè ṣe ìgbékalẹ̀ ètò ìní ní èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì. Mo dá alábàá, olùdarí.
Aṣòfin Olùwà.
Ẹ ṣé olùdarí, mo dìde láti kí àbá náà lẹ́yìn.
Ṣé gbogbo wa ló faramọ́? Àwọn tí ò faramọ́, àwọn tó faramọ́ ló pọ̀ jùlọ. Majority leader.
Right Honourable Speaker, distinguished members, next on the other paper is House of Assembly motion number 13. But Mr. Speaker, I'll crave indulgence to move that the said motion be stepped down for another day because the prime mover is not available. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Tebitope.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise second the motion as moved.
All in favor say ayes. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Yeah, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Next on the other paper is House of Assembly Bill number 5, Lagos State Neighbourhood Safety Cause Agency Amendment Bill 2020. Mr. Speaker, the said bill is supported by myself, Honorable Jim, Honorable Shangodara, Honorable Brahmo, the House Committee Chairman on Information and Security, Honorable Lowo, Honorable Ayode, Honorable Akonde, Honorable Oshun, Engineer Yishao, Honorable Adams, Honorable Olumo, Honorable Mrs. Ali Macaulay KM, Honorable Rauf AO, Honorable Sonny GBO. Mr. Speaker, I wish to move that the said bill be read for the first time. I so move. Thank you.
Honorable Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say ayes. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Right, Honorable Speaker, distinguished honorable members, with a kind permission, I'll read for the first time Lagos State's Neighborhood Safety Corps Agency Amendment Bill 2020. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Majority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, though the rule of the House provides that different days be allotted to different stages of a bill, Mr. Speaker, but in view of the importance and some other challenges, I wish to leverage on Order 7, Rule 81(1) of the Rules of the House to move that we abridge the procedure and therefore take the second reading of this same bill today. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Nureni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say ayes. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On that ground, Mr. Speaker, I wish to move that a bill, Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Corps Agency Amendment Bill 2020, supported by those I earlier mentioned, be read for the second time. I so move.
Honorable Desmond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say ayes. All in favor say ayes. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Right, Honorable Speaker, distinguished honorable members, I wish to respectfully read for the second time a bill for a law to amend the Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Corps Agency Law 2019 and for other connected purposes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Who goes first? Majority Leader. Majority Leader, your line is on.
Though members, that is a product of members' bill. Mr. Speaker, the Lagos State House of Assembly established the State Neighborhood Safety Corps Agency, which has been caring for issue of safety and security within our various communities in Lagos State. The cause has done very well until the concept of neighborhood or the concept of security across the various communities in Southwest, owing to the various challenges we have generated. Mr. Speaker, the bill we have today is incorporating the concept of a more dynamic and a more strengthened security platform into what we already have in Lagos State. And therefore, the bill that we have only makes amendment to various sections of the bill to energize and strengthen the security network in Lagos State and various communities, owing to the various challenges that we are having currently across various states in the Southwest. But this is particularly Lagos, and since we have a security platform and a concept is generating, we just have to incorporate it into what we have. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, the bill we have tries to create a unit out of the neighborhood safety calls that we have, and the unit to be referred to according to the law as Amotekun calls. The Amotekun calls is designed to take charge of security in certain areas in the forest, some border areas, nooks and crannies of our various community highways, to be sure that we are protected against infiltration by hoodlums, cultism, as well as cattle rustling and hencemen. Mr. Speaker, the bill provides for a commander of this cause, this Amotekun cause, and what is worth noting there, Mr. Speaker, is the provision that the Amotekun Corps, when created, and if created upon this law, shall, with the approval of the authorities of the Nigerian police, bear arms. That will further strengthen them and will further strengthen what we already have. More so, Mr. Speaker, there is provision in this law that whoever is the commander of these Amotekun Corps can collaborate with other similar security platforms in some other states of the Federation, particularly Ondo, Oyo, Ogun, and Ondo, Oyo, Ogun, and Ekiti State. Mr. Speaker, this, we are sure that when this bill is passed, it will strengthen the security network in our state, especially now that there is this outbreak of cult activities tormenting and troubling the peace-loving people of the state. Mr. Speaker, since we have this neighborhood safety cause, this bill is coming to strengthen what we already have, incorporating the concept of Amotekun, which has generated a lot of controversy, but welcomed by the downtrodden masses and the people of this state. Mr. Speaker, in view of this, I wish to just point out that while going through the bill, the area I want us to pay attention to is the establishment clause of this bill, which establishment clause of this bill in section 7, Mr. Speaker. In section 7, the establishment clause designates Amotekun as a Safety Corps Border Patrol Unit. Mr. Speaker, this designation does not conform with the functions and the structure of the Amotekun Corps. In case I want this area to be correctly looked into, because the establishment clause limits the scope of Amotekun, whereas in the functions it is elaborate and gives it a more wider scope to operate. Mr. Speaker, I wish to say that this is a very good bill, and I urge my colleagues to give it all the necessary support it requires. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, good evening.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Well, I want to really give credence to the bill coming out today that we are looking at, and also to really commend the foresight of the Lagos State House of Assembly, having made provision for the future occurrence in the area of security of the state. The only thing that is coming as an amendment, which I see as very important, is the incorporation of Lagos Amotekun Corps into the Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Corps. When you look at the existing law, it has covered wider areas already, right? And it has also made a lot of internal security in terms of information gathering, which is still being emphasized by this amendment as one of the priority in the existing law. However, the area that I will want us to really pay attention is that aspect of the insertion in section 36 under 7E, where we are talking about the, that is number 5, where we are talking about the appointment by the governor, a corps commander for the Lagos State Amotekun Corps, which shall be a retired police or military officer not below the rank of a major or his equivalent. I don't have any problem with this, Right Honorable Speaker. There should be a sort of local content in the formation of this Lagos State Amotekun Corps, where we need to incorporate some of the local intelligence officer in the ranking, in the structure of this Amotekun Corps, where it will be easy for them to be able to know what is happening within the localities and be able to pass the information around. The structure that has been in existence in the overall Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Corps can really take care of the requirement here. And by the time we are bringing in somebody that has the native intelligence, you know, it will be easy for us to, for people to divulge information to them. There will be trust line in that area. Also, whoever that is being appointed as the head of that unit, I think there should be need for the approval of the House, so that we all be involved, you know, to really know that the person we are bringing in to head that person is a person of trust character. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm in support of the amendment. I've been looking at the executive bill, the amended bill sent to us. I have some... Can you make use of the mind? Right Honorable Sir. The amendment is a good one, but in my own wisdom and from general overview of what people are saying, supported by statistics, I think we should go miles beyond nomenclature. I observe nomenclature in this bill, Mr. Speaker. It seems we are just experimenting with some of these issues that we are discussing on security. And what I mean by that, we all are aware that Nigerian police it has been existing before independence, indeed 1930 precisely, and it was formed by colonialists. We have not made serious steps within us to resolve, to even form an arm of the police or a military wing of the police that is going to challenge the entire system. That is why, in my own opinion, I see it as one of the reasons why we are having some casualty and some of these bandits and insecurity in the country. If the colonialists that came to colonize us, and by 1930 they formed the Nigerian police for us, and there is no serious attempt or serious amendment to that very act, either to form another military wing that can govern either 22 million Lagosians or that can govern the entire 200 million Nigerians. Why I'm saying this is that if you quantify the population of the Nigerian police of about 380 or 370,000, compared to the population of the country, they cannot do anything. Let's put it into ratio. We know that this thing cannot work. And if we want to have an Amotekun or the safety corps, we should also encourage them to be armed. We should also encourage them to be able to prosecute. These are the areas I think we should also look into. And Mr. Speaker, you know, history will always
judge us. South Africa also have similar issue. That does not mean that the South African police are not there, but they also have their local police, which is the native, they call it Nkoto. I don't remember the name precisely now. It's long I've read that book. So they have that too, that are checkmating insecurity in their. They don't merge it with the the South African police, but they work hand in hand with them. But they can also prosecute and arrest. And I think this is the figure we should also be looking at, instead of just amending in terms of nomenclature and changing some words that we, in order to incorporate persuasive titles and amendments. I think the amendment should be substantive. It doesn't matter if we have the military wing of the Amotekun in Lagos. It's for the security, and after all, the essence of government is welfare and security of the people. So we cannot secure our people. What is the essence of existence? So this is my own opinion, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My colleague, good afternoon. Mr. Speaker, let me use this opportunity to thank you very much, because there is a difference between being a reactive leader and being a proactive leader. The issue of Amotekun actually started from Lagos State when you conceived the idea of neighborhood watch. Today, we are just trying to make it more robust, and it shows that we are more proactive in Lagos, especially this House of Assembly. We need to thank ourselves and thank the leadership of the House for that move. Mr. Speaker, there are many reasons I want to support this amendment, because number one, it has to do with the fact that a federal police lack character in the sense that the structure has not actually helped in abating or suppressing crimes. When you bring somebody from Jigawa who doesn't understand Yoruba and you want him to be the DP of Shomolu police station, and his lieutenants too, whether they are from Sokoto, they are from Kanu, they are from Maiduguri, they are from Enugu. The fact of the matter is that security is local, and we need to localize that security. Mr. Speaker, issue of banditry recently kidnap and other issues obviously give more credence to the localization or having a community police. Mr. Speaker, this law, Neighborhood Watch, is only to be amended to allow for more inclusion, to allow for our own aspect of that Neighborhood Watch, that you allow for the use of licensed gun. And I think it's a welcome idea. If whatever name we call it, whatever the nomenclature is, the fact means that it is only community police that we effectively put in the board. The incessant armed robbery attack, kidnap, and the likes. But these bills, sir, if I may want to say one or two things about it, I will talk about funding, Mr. Speaker, because of the people that be involved and the other requirements for that integral part of our neighborhood watch. There is a need for us to look for a way to allow more funding into that, Mr. Speaker. And finally, sir, Mr. Speaker, I believe that we need to look at the structural recruitment of these Amotekun's aspect of neighborhood watch, because if you bring somebody from Badagry as part of Amotekun in Shomolu, you know that live in the neighborhood should be recruited in that neighborhood. So if there are local issues, they would be able to nip it in bud. We know in our respective localities the bad boys, and we know where they live and how they operate. So if you have local Amotekun having watch over local issues, I think we will resolve all problems. And more importantly, Mr. Speaker, thank you again for allowing the collaboration, because I know without the Houses of Assembly in the Southwest, this will be very difficult to achieve. I know what you have done in the course of the meetings, deliberations, and ensuring that this comes to life. Thank you, and my colleague, thank you. Please, let's support the necessary committee to give this all the desired support it deserves. Thank you.
Honorable Makinde.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, today bill is very proactive one, and the wise one will say you cannot build something on nothing. The Amotekun, Lagos State Amotekun Safety Corps, I think it's in just a kind of a step up to what the Lagos State government have been doing, particularly the House of Assembly. The Right Honourable Speaker deemed it fit that we should localize our security outfit, or which he now sponsored a bill called the Lagos State Neighbourhood Safety Corps. And today, a lot of our security challenges were really tackled. Those that came from the riverine areas were able to tackle them. The issue of the courts, we were able to tackle them, and other local security threats. And today we are having a kind of upgrading of the existing bill. And I have to thank the Lagos State House of Assembly across the southwest geopolitical zone of Nigeria. Now, what I saw in this bill, that a kind of an upgrade from the existing law, is harming the Amotekun Safety Corps. And if you see the Right Honourable Speaker, I've been clamoring for the state police, and I think we are getting there, either we like it or not. And today, we are moving towards legitimizing our yearning and the aspiration of our people in Lagos State, that security cannot be left for the federal government to be handling. It should be local, and the security threats of individual states are peculiar. I was part of the committee member that received the House of Assembly from Zamfara State. Their security challenge in that area is far away from our own. We don't have much of cattle rustling in our area. And then what we thought is maybe our people are the one attacking in the north. The northern people are even complaining bitterly. So for us to have this, we are just setting a pace for other geopolitical regions in the Nigeria. Now, the part of the beauty of the bill is the patrol that they will be, making both day and night. This will really helps the police force in tackling the little security threat we are having in the state. Because Lagos State is better off in terms of security, and because we are spending more money to tackle our security threat in Lagos State. This one will help. Another one that is very beautiful is that the safety corps can even assist in case of accidental issues across our highway. So all this one is part of what I really find out, that the new bill, the upgrading of our existing law, is one that will really help to really tackle the unforeseen security threats to Lagos State. And more importantly, there will be a kind of collaboration amongst the 6 states that are within the Lagos State and beyond the western part of the Nigeria, that they can work together. And I want to call our colleagues that we should give the bill the necessary support so that it can become law. Thank you very much.
Honorable Victor Akonde.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I first of all want to thank you for your innovation of that particular law, that bill that became law. Because without it, maybe we will still be clamoring for safety. But the beauty of these amendments is actually Section 3 that was amended and the inclusion of Section 36. The Section 3 that was amended under B 6, at a particular time when the lawyers are clamoring that the non-lawyers that are prosecutors should be removed from the court from prosecuting, we have something that is amended in this manner. We are following up on arrest of offenders and their prosecution with the aim of ensuring justice. That alone has actually cured some things that have been clamoring for. Because we cannot allow the Amotekuns to go and prosecute because they are non-lawyers. Number two, the beauty of this amendment is also in undertaking routine day and night patrol on minor and major roads. That is to tell us that there is no room for criminals. There is no room for criminals. And again, another beauty is that it cuts across other states. They collaborate because the amendment to section 17 says the agency shall ensure cordial relationship with the police and other security agents in other states, not just in Lagos. And that other states, as it is written, shows that it's not just only for the western, it's for the southwest, all other states, as it connotes, although particularly the Ondo, Ekiti, and those our neighboring states. Again, we could see that it's going to help us to reduce kidnapping and terrorism, which has been the major problem of our state. This bill is actually germane, and again, like we are having Interpol. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Bisu Yusuf.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My first reaction to this amendment is also to thank you for the first law, which is Neighborhood Safety Corps. It's your brainchild, and also the leadership of the House and the entire members of this great House. Thank you for this bill, because if we listen very attentively to the commentary from all sections of the country, they have given this bill a very special attention. And so many sections of the country, they are copying this neighborhood safety corps. Thank you for this once more. Mr. Speaker, the name Amatekun is highly very important, and we should know what the name denotes. The connotation of this Amatekun. Amatekun is the fattest animal on the earth. The fattest one, fastest on the earth. And Mr. Speaker, now with this one, when you introduce it, one thing which is very clear is that when they monitor the city, they can also venture into the bush, that is a forest, to monitor what is also going. Because when they kidnap in the city, they move into the forest. And when they move into the forest, it's in the forest that they do havoc to our citizens. But these Amatekun people will be able to go into the forest, monitor what is going on in the forest, which leads to the fact, Mr. Speaker, that those who are to be recruited must be those that know in and out of the area where they are going to be recruited. They must not be just book people. It is not. It should be those who have the native intelligence and those who have the power that Amatekun has. Those ones, that's what I want to lay emphasis. It's not just because we want to increase the manpower alone, but we must make sure that those people will be able to do the job. Really, we have the native people that do not even know anything, that they have not seen the inside of the world of class, but they are very good in this job. That is the area I want to emphasize, Mr. Speaker. It should be domesticated. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Council
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, I would like to also use this opportunity to congratulate you because it actually started when you saw the future of this proposed Amotekun, when the Neighbourhood Safety Corps was created. Furthermore, I would like to say that this Amotekun bill is actually coming at a good time where security measures have to be put in place to ensure that we secure the southwest region by the way we monitor and integrate security apparatus. So this is definitely a very apt bill, and it is also at this point in time very timely. I want to just quickly speak to the some of the sections within the bill. I would start by saying that just like the last speaker said, the native intelligence is very important in making sure that the duties are carried out in absolute the way it's supposed to, in tandem with the community at large. Furthermore, I would suggest, however, that in section 7 of this proposed bill, section 7, subsection 7, the Lagos State Amotekun Corps Commander shall hold a term for a term of 4 years and may be eligible for a further term of 4 years only. I would suggest, however, that, well, apart from the fact that the extant laws of the Lagos State Neighbourhood Safety Corps stipulates that the commander or the chairman should be about a tenure of 5 years, I would also recommend the same 5 years for the Amotekun Corps commander. And one of the reasons is not exactly too far-fetched. One of my reasons, however, would be that it is common knowledge that every 4 years, especially within the country, particularly Lagos State and the Southwest, we recognize it as election years, and most of our election years are actually quite worrisome in terms of the security and the securing of lives in general, because of the criminal-minded people who perpetrate a lot of evil during that period. So, however, if there's a change during that period, I feel like it's going to create some sort of lacuna or space within that period. And one of the reasons why I'm saying that can be found under section 3, section 3B2. One of the functions of the Amotekun as stipulated under this law is that making available such relevant information on crime and crime in progress and crime-related activities, suspicious activities, and criminal suspects to the police to other security agencies that require it. I believe that during this period, such vital information would be given by a commander, and certainly not supposed to be an outgoing commander who still has some sort of knowledge within that period. And further premised on the following suggestions, I would also like to say, as a rider to what Honorable Olowo mentioned earlier, that some of these local intelligence people, the community indigenes, who are already incorporated into the Neighbourhood Safety Watch, Neighbourhood Safety Corps, should be migrated into the Amotekun Corps, because they have some sort of local knowledge already of the and they've been operating on a certain template based on the extant law. And of course, this is a journey towards the state police, and it is quite effective. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would also like to follow the same vein as my colleagues and commend the bill heavily. I think it's very apt and wonderful for the time. I would, however, like to make a comment on Section 36, subsection 8, where it says the Lagos State Amotekun Corps commander shall be removed from office by the governor if the governor is satisfied that it is not in the interest of the public that he should continue in office. Mr. Speaker, sir, I believe that we should add one sentence to this, which is that he can remove the individual with the concurrence of the Lagos State House of Assembly, simply because if we have no part in him appointing the individual, at least as representatives of the people, sir, we should be able to have a part in letting him know whether we believe the people have been working well or not working well. This is my submission. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Verena.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I just want to add one or two things to what we're talking about this afternoon. Number one, I believe this Amotekun Corps is supposed to be the local wing of our neighborhood safety corps. So I think if that is supposed to be, I want to say I have some things I think we should also put into consideration. Number one, to me, no amount is too much when it comes to security in terms of securing people's lives and property. So I would want to suggest the board of the neighborhood safety corps should a little bit be expanded that will accommodate maybe some of our traditional rulers. Maybe we can do it in a divisional way, pick traditional rulers to be part of it, because I believe they are actually the closest to the community, closest to the people. We have the Bales, we have the Obas, and there's also something here that I also noticed. On page 6, there shall be, page 6, number 5, there shall be appointed by the governor a corps commander for the Lagos State Amotekun Corps, who shall be a retired police or military officer. Sir, if we have a commander that has this requirement or for neighborhood safety corps, I think we should go local on this particular one. Maybe one of our great hunters or what have you to at least champion this cause, since it's like the local wing of the neighborhood safety corps. Well, thank you, sir. That's my observation.
Honorable Swadi Eshilo. Swadi like méjèèjì.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I must commend my colleagues for their contributions on this all-important bill. I think the issue has generated a lot of discourse in the past few weeks, and so happy when the Speaker called us to cut short the recess to come and attend to this Amotekun bill. The Constitution provides section 214 and 215 that there should be a police force in Nigeria and there should be no other police. And some of those
Please make use of the Bible.
and some of those who had contributed on this issue had also told us that there are provisions in the Nigerian constitutions that allow the use, that allow Amotekun to be used. Some had pointed to the Administration of Justice Act that says that anybody can apprehend a criminal, either individually or jointly. And I'm not sure, I'm so sure that the Amotekun force that we're talking about is just doing the same. They've also pointed out to Chapter 2 Section 14 2B of the Nigerian Constitutions, which says that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. There's also Section 14 of the Constitution that says that security of lives and property of the citizens shall be the primary purpose of government. All of these support this idea of having a security force in this part of the country. Also, I want us to critically re-examine the nomenclature or appellation that we are trying to give to this. He said, Special Neighborhood Safety Corps, Border Patrol Unit. Like the majority leader pointed out, we should take a critical look at this, because the Border Patrol is just a function of Amotekun, one of the functions. Other functions, it will be myopic to label it as a Border Patrol Unit, because when you look at all the functions stated, like undertaking, ensuring the offenders are identified, arrested, registered, and then promptly handed over to the police. One, give timely report of suspicious activities and crime in progress. It does not limit them to the Border Patrol. It is just one of their units. Rather, I may suggest, if it is acceptable to my colleagues and Mr. Speaker, that why don't we label this Neighborhood Safety Corps, the Special Squad, and it will now flow that will forever be referred to in this law as Lagos State Amotekun Corps. Also, flowing from that, I just have a little fear, which I think will be maybe allayed in the days to come. My problem with joining or making it, it will be appropriate to make it like it is a unit under the Neighborhood Watch. But knowing fully well how Nigerian is, tomorrow the federal government can wake up in their whatever and say, we are banning all Amotekuns in the southwest. With that, you can say we are banning. What will that say? It will now mean that because there's no other way, we have already put Amotekun under Neighborhood Safety Corps. It then means that Lagos State Neighborhood Corps is banned. However, because I know when we were discussing, some said that since we have a compendium of environmental law, we have a compendium of power law, why don't we have also a compendium of security law, where this Amotekun bill will just be another law where we can have the Neighborhood Watch, the Amotekun law, the Lagos State Security Trust Fund, and other related security law, because of the kind of Nigeria that we are operating. But I hope that in the next few days before we do the public hearing, probably after the public hearing, all these ill feelings will be allayed. However, to support this Amotekun is because the people are already yearning for it, and it is what is that we must support and make sure that it comes into existence. I also will commend it to my colleagues. So thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Isha.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, colleagues. My colleagues have said a lot, so let me just add a bit to what has been said. First of all, I must commend Mr. Speaker for his foresight. In 2016, Lagos State House of Assembly passed the Neighborhood Safety Corps law. And as you see, we are not making a fresh law today. We're only amending what has been on ground. Mr. Speaker, we want to thank you for having that foresight, seeing the unforeseen and blazing trail for Lagos State and Nigeria, as the case may be. Mr. Speaker, like we know, and some of my colleagues here have said, everything is, life is dynamic, even governance is dynamic. So what is basically being done here is to move our Neighborhood Safety Corps law to another level. And what is the level we're talking about? My majority leader mentioned it, the border security. It doesn't capture it. My deputy speaker was trying to talk about the squad. I would want us to call it SWAT, which is what called special weapons. And special weapons covers everything and tactics. So that is a unit under Lagos Neighborhood Safety Corps Agency. So that is settled. If that is settled, there are a couple of things I also would like to talk about with respect to this bill. The structure has to be looked into. The committee that is looking into it should look at the structure. You're having a commander for Amotekun, you still have the executive secretary, so that there won't be conflict. Who is actually heading the agency? The structure must be properly set up. Who attends the meeting when we are meeting other states? Those things should be put in place with respect to the structure of that. Also, the logo, I saw somewhere there, Baba was talking about cheetah, but I saw somewhere there that it's a leopard that is the logo. But logos should be more defined. It's not a leopard. It has to be defined properly with all the crest around it. That should also be done with respect to that. Also, there are some functions that are being repeated. I'm sure when you're harmonizing this law, you realize that some of these things that are being said as new things are just 1 or 2 lines amendment in the existing law. So they should look also into that aspect of it. By and large, I think this is timely, this is necessary. We've been on track before, and it's the right time to upgrade the law to have a unit which is more equipped to handle the new kind of crime that we have within our state. I support it, and I ask my colleagues to also support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Right Honourable Speaker. Before I say my mind, I want to personally appreciate the Right Honourable Speaker for his foresight. If not for him, maybe I guess he saw this coming. That was why he initiated that law. And today, every part of Nigeria is trying to emulate that gesture. It was a wonderful one. Today, we have Neighbourhood Watch, which is, Neighbourhood Safety Law, which is a baby. Thank you very much, sir. This Amotekun thing is very apt, and I really want to support it because there are so many challenges we're having in this country today. And we know that this particular law, to a great extent, will limit those things. But my concern really is about the recruitment of those people. I am concerned about paper qualification, which is always what we first take into consideration when we are recruiting people. Because those days, hunters were very key. Or they were very key in our security. And they didn't go to school, but they were in charge of their communities. So I want us to emphasize the area of paper qualification when we are recruiting these people. We have them, in my own local area, we have something we call Zangbeto. Zangbeto is a security outfit, local security outfit in Badagry. And with Zangbeto, they were not educated, but you dare not try anything. Today, they use this for ceremonies and all those things. What basically Zangbeto is like Amotekun. So I want to encourage us to look into those areas and also avoid the pitfalls of the present law, because we face some challenges during the implementation, and those things will have to be taken into consideration so that we avoid them. But by and large, this is a wonderful time for us to take the security of Lagos State into our own hands, since the Nigerian police has, to a great extent, failed us. Just like my colleague, the deputy majority leader said, we have less than 500,000 policemen, policing 200 million people. This is abominable. It is unimaginable. That's why I want to suggest that we look locally and employ people that are living in those communities. And I can assure you that the issue of security will be a thing of the past in Lagos State. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Tunde Bravo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I must thank you for your thoughtfulness in cutting short the vacation of the House of Assembly to reconvene for this very important matter. Mr. Speaker, In the same vein, I thank distinguished honorable members for responding to that call to service to come to debate and discuss these very important issues. Mr. Speaker, governance is about giving meaning to the yearnings and aspirations of the people. What the people of the Southwest, Lagos, Ogun, Osun, Ondo, Oyo, and Ekiti want now, more than anything else, is to take more than a passing interest in matters that concern their safety and security. And that's why everywhere you go in this area, what we hear now is Amotekun, Amotekun, Amotekun. It has shown that our people are interested, and I thank Mr. Speaker and Lagos State in general for responding equally like other parts of the Southwest. Mr. Speaker, it will be most uncharitable and most unconscionable to deny the fact or to just glide over the fact that the whole Amotekun concept emanates from your industry, your ingenuity and intuitiveness in proposing and formulating the Lagos Neighbourhood Safety Corps bill as it then was in 2016 before it became a law. And that is the pivot around which the wheel of the entire Amotekun concept now rotates. Mr. Speaker, Section 14, 2B of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria, as variously altered, means no what when it says that the primary responsibility of government in Nigeria is security and welfare of the citizens. Mr. Speaker, without saying, is it not someone that's alive that we would seek other means of advancement, economy, health? Life comes first, and that's why security is very important. When we are in a country where we have maybe more than 200 million people, and as of today, the number of people enlisted in the services of Nigerian police is 371,000. Out of that 371,000, what we have serving in Lagos State is 9,689 members of police force. That is grossly inadequate to police more than 20 million people. And we need to ameliorate, we need to show up for the obvious death of that critical security outfit in Lagos State. And that was what prompted your thought and got the endorsement of the House to have the Lagos Neighbourhood Safety Corps law. Now we have had that, and we have experimented it. We are making progress in terms of implementation of that law. But with the advent of the Amotekun concept, which was thought out to be those specialized people who will go into the hinterlands and waterways to support the orthodox Lagos Neighbourhood Safety Corps, we buy into it, and I want to thank the distinguished colleagues for speaking so glowingly and so approvingly of the concept and for buying into it. Mr. Speaker, I will wish that we in Lagos State give approval to that popularly endorsed concept. Mr. Speaker, there are issues in the bill, contained in the bill as presented to the House of Assembly. The issues, I believe, will be looked into at the public hearing and at the committee stage by distinguished honorable members and those who are invited to submit thoughts or memoranda on the bill. However, some critical issues are like the approval or the appointment of commander for the safety, for the Amotekun, Lagos Amotekun Corps. It is very important that we all look at whoever is going to fit those shoes. We need to get the House of Assembly to look into that jointly with the executive. And also, there are other issues like the functions of the Lagos Amotekun Corps. The bill itself, under Section 7, seems to restrict the functions of the corps to borderline, and that's an absurdity because you have to move from somewhere to the borderlines. And what if perhaps there's a need for them to go into other territories. There must be an enablement for cooperation within the cause of Lagos, with the cause of Ogun State, cause of Oyo State, cause of other states, to be able to do joint patrol and operation where need be in terms of exigencies. Mr. Speaker, on that note, I throw all my all into the support of the bill. Thank you.
Honorable Rahim.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, let me congratulate you for your wealth of experience, because the bill we are talking about today is based on your experience. And secondly, many people have talked a lot and say a lot about this bill. The area that I want us to look critically, Honorable Tumide Bramu have mentioned it best. I still need to emphasize on the area of function, because if care is not taken, there will be clashes of interest. Because the so-called Amotekun unit under Lagos State Neighbourhood Youth Corps, there are a lot of commanders under the former neighborhood and the new Amotekun bill we are working about now, they are going to be using arms, and whereas the former agency or the former corps are not using arms. If care is not taken, because we need to clarify and define clearly their function and their role, so that there won't be clashes of interest at the end of the day. I want to adjust so that because the committee that will work on it should clearly spell the functions and the role of each commander. And I want to use this opportunity to congratulate myself, because the bill we are talking about comes up today, 20th of February, which happened to be my birthday. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Agep Sligo. In 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Going by what other speakers have been saying, I will not only congratulate Mr. Speaker, but I want to thank him for one thing. I was opportuned to be part of this Amotekun discussion. And behold, it was when our own speaker spoke that the tension was doused. In other words, they came with their various ideas about this Amotekun thing, but the processes were not properly followed. But when our own Mr. Speaker, the ingenious speaker, spoke, I think it became understood that the right thing must be done the right time, which is coming to the house to secure the concurrence of various houses. On this note, I want to say thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, looking at this Amotekun thing, I support it with my entirety, in the sense that there is need for integration. Because if we talk about integration in commercial activity, in social activity, there's need for integration in security. It is not only about Lagos State, it's about Nigeria. And at the same time, I want us to think about regionalism. It looks like a regional thing, but it is not. There is need for us to nip in the bud the problem that is coming up every now and then. The rate at which people are being killed, the rate at which people are being, different things unheard of, are taking place. So if Amotekun can come to stay, definitely, to a reasonable extent, there will be a reduction in all these, atrocities being committed. On this note, I want to say I support.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Honorable
much.
Jimmy Mohammed, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would also like to start by commending your sagacity with respect to the origination of this particular bill, which was originated from your own ingenuity back as we named it as the Neighborhood Safety Corps bill, which was passed into an act a few years ago. Also, I'd like to toe the line of my fellow colleagues who have supported the same bill today. However, Mr. Speaker, I would just like for us to put a little bit more clarity as to the roles and responsibilities of the Amotekun Corps. The reason being that in the other Southwest states, this is going to be a new bill which does not have an existing security facility. As Honorable Rahim had said now, some of the new Amotekun Corps section will be bearing some arms, and we need for clarity as to one, maybe geographical location as to where they'll be within. In terms of the command as well too, sir, we're hoping there won't be any sort of clash within the existing one and the new ones that will be called the Amotekun Corps. This is owing to the fact that this is not new in the state of Lagos State. We're only creating an arm or a section within the state government, as opposed to us looking at the Southwest, where this is a new bill. So the structures might differ with respect to the regions. I just thought I'll lend my voice to this particular area.
Thank you. Honorable Laiwola, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and my colleague. Good afternoon. Sir, I join my colleagues to commend you on your proactiveness when in 2016 you introduced on this floor Neighborhood Safety Corps, and it later became a law. That was in 2016. And the recent event really shows that the pace-setting role that Lagos State put in place in establishing neighborhood work is commendable. We can see that this has culminated in the yearning for the Amotekun of 18. However, Mr. Speaker, we need to separate this corps, this Amotekun of 18. We need to disentangle it from the present security architecture already in place. What I mean by this is that the issue of Amotekun should have a local content. Since we all know that security is local, as advocated by my people, I believe inclusion of local hunters, the babalawos, the alfas, and the worshippers is not out of place if you can engage them. If you do this, we'll definitely go to the nitty-gritty of security problem that we have. Mr. Speaker, I need to call your attention that we adopted this measure during Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu tenureship as Lagos State Governor, when federal government did not allow us to, the last officials, to enforce traffic on federal highways. Only few people know that those people that face federal government talks that time were local people. We engaged them and it really worked. So I'm in total support of including local people in the security arrangement that we are putting in place now. I join my colleagues to support the motion on Amotekun.
Honorable Afili, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yeah. I also want to congratulate you, as this will be the first time I'll be commending the 8th House of Assembly that was headed by yourself on this law, the Neighborhood Watch. So I want to lend my voice to support this amendment just because doing it with our sister states, the neighboring states, is very important. Like Honorable Rao said earlier, the integration is very important because if we look at some cases, some criminal cases, like kidnapping, when they kidnap, they don't put the victims around. They usually take them to the neighboring states. And this can bring, when we have sister organizations in other states, it will help in, the communication. They can help us do some investigation in the neighboring states before they can go further down the country. So I really support that. And also, the Neighborhood Watch or the Amotekun Corps is going to support the police officers, because if we are looking at the United Nations Security Standard, we actually need about 1 police officer for every 400 people. So if we're looking at the population of Lagos State at 22 million, we'll be needing about 55,000 police officers. And like Honorable Buemo said earlier, we have less than 10,000 working here. So I fully lend my voice to support this motion. Thank you.
Honorable Sari, 2 minutes.
I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I must say I am in sync with the mood of the House and with the spirit of the amendment to the Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Corps to reflect Amotekun inclusion. Mr. Speaker, fellow colleagues, just about 3 weeks ago, specifically 27th January 2020, the #1 lawmaker in the land, talking about the Senate President, posited that the security architecture of the country has failed, and it requires, rejigging, if you like, overhauling. Again, it is a common ground amongst Lagosians, among commentators, that we are presently experiencing systemic security failure. And for a serious-minded government who knows the essence of its existence, we must come with ingenious solution to this problem, as it were. And that is why I wholeheartedly support this Amotekun bill as presented. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, my worries are, what are the functions, basically? How do we recruit the personnel? Who qualifies? The gender, the age bracket, the local content that is going to be included, because it's a specialized, is a specialized security apparatus. All of these must give a harder look. Save that, I wholeheartedly support this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable Saka.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker and my colleagues. Let me first of all appreciate Mr. Speaker with the initiative of Neighborhood Corps and with the latest amendment to the Neighborhood Corps in terms of the unit that the Amotekun will take. Mr. Speaker, let me also appreciate the idea in section 36C that the relationship between the state, that is Ogun State, Lagos State, Oyo, Osun, and Ekiti, that they have a synergy when it comes to security issue. You see that there's a lot of criminals that hurt in Lagos. Within less than 2 hours, they are already in Ogun or Oyo, Osun. But by the time we have synergy, there will be a lot of redeems in terms of this type of security issue. And professionals I also believe that if you look at the Nigeria police, we have a lot of unit sessions under them, and they are working side by side, and we appreciate them. But with Amotekun, I saw one of the, in social media, I think it's Oyo Ogun, Odo, Ekiti precisely, the commanders of that Amotekun, the proposed Amotekun, you see the outfit. In fact, that outfit itself is a fear to everybody. And I believe by the time Amotekun is stand, believe honestly, you see what is called Amotekun with.
Thank you. Honorable Lumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I believe strongly
you have 2
that,
minutes, please.
Yes, sir. Some leaders are made, while some are born. But the leadership quality, Mr. Speaker, shows rightly that it's born with the quality of leadership that he exhibits. So thank you for this very, very law that you made in 2016. Having said this, sir, I want to join Honorable Lowo to look at the funding part of this bill, if there is any. And if it will be possible for us to give security first line of charge, because there is nothing too much to pay for the security, for security in the lives and property of our citizenry. Secondly, sir, I look at this bill from the point of employment. I believe strongly that it will be able to take care of the unemployment in our market as it is today. At least our local people, maybe the Olodes and co, they can be brought into the formal sector and give employment as well. And lastly, sir, the issue of recruitment, like I said, has to go with training. I've not seen in any part of this bill that talk about manpower training. We should train our people. The local Olodes, if you give them the right proper training, they can do what Nigerian police are doing and do them effectively. So I join my voice with my colleagues to support the bill. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Duredi.
Good afternoon again, Mr. Speaker. Let me join my colleague at least by saying, Mr. Speaker, we should continue with the good job you've been doing. You are a good leader. Thank you, sir. On that, I just want to talk on the uniform, sir. The uniform, as our people said, there should be a special uniform. I think the Amotekun. So because the other, the parent body, they have their own uniform. Maybe are they going to use the same uniform, or they are going to change it to the Amotekun stuff. So thank you, Mr. Speaker. That is my take.
Honorable Macaulay.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker. Most of the things that I would have said has been taken by my colleagues, but however, it would be very uncharitable of me if I do not lend my voice concerning the Amotekun security network. Right Honorable Speaker, first and foremost, I'd like to also commend you for your foresight, for having the brainchild of the Neighbourhood Corps, the Lagos State Neighbourhood Safety Corps that was enacted in 2016. My worry, sir, Right Honorable Speaker, is the recruitment, as rightly said about, discussed previously by Honorable Sonny. I was also worried to know if women will also be involved in the recruitment, the age bracket, and also, Right Honorable Speaker, I'm curious to know if the Amotekun Corps members will be wearing the same uniform with Lagos State, Ogun State, or your state, and the other Western states. Then I also wanted to know, Right Honorable Sir, that will there be a central security control system that coordinates all the operations of the Amotekun Corps from Lagos to other parts of the Western? That's all I wanted to know. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, this bill is hereby committed to House Committee on Information Strategy and Security to report back Senate, and public hearing will come up on next Monday, 24th. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the purpose for which we suspended other 9 dealing with language has been accomplished, and as we are getting to the end of today's proceeding, Mr. Speaker, I wish to move that the said other be resuscitated. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Akondi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion.
All in favor say aye. Those against no, the ayes have it. Majority Leader.
Lẹ́yìn ìgbà yẹn, mo ní àǹfààní láti sọ fún gbogbo ilé wípé pẹ̀lú ìyọ̀ǹda olùdarí wa, mo fẹ́ dalábàá pé lẹ́yìn ìgbà tí a ti parí ètò tòní, ká mú ìjókòó wá sí ìpamọ́ fún ìgbà kan náà. Mo dá a lábàá. Sinada.
Ìgbà òmíràn. Ìgbà tí ò lọ́jọ́.
Aṣòfin Tèmítọ́pẹ́.
Ẹ ṣe olùdarí, mo dìde láti kábàá náà lẹ́sẹ̀.
Ṣé gbogbo wa ló fara mọ́? Àwọn tí ò fara mọ́ tó fara mọ́ ló pọ̀ jùlọ. A sún ìjókòó lé síwájú di àkókò tí ìpè bá ró mo gbéra sọ.